It's only through pain you could love the old Honda Civic. Every time you'd go over a speed breaker, you'd have to prepare yourself to have a piece of your underbody scraped out, and along with that, a piece of your heart. Yet here I am, driving a Civic over some of Bangalore's mightiest speed breakers, and yet the bottom isn't scraping. Alright, now with the ground clearance ticked and out of the way, let's talk a little bit about the design, because with the old Civic, for most at least, it was love at first sight. This one though is different. Sure, you're not going to miss it on the road with its sleek LED headlamps, its thick front fascia, its curvy bodywork, and those sleek LED tail lamps that make it look like it was designed in a Michael Bay movie. But it just doesn't have that futuristic feel that the previous Civic gave us. And there's more of that on the inside. It doesn't feel too special. It doesn't have that spaceship cocoon-like feel that the previous model gave you. But then again, maybe I'm dwelling too much in the past, because this car is a lot more practical than its predecessor. We're going to talk more about the practicality and the features in just a bit. Let me tell you more about the car that we're driving here. This is the 1.6 diesel, produces about 120 PS, 300 Newton meters of torque, and is mated to a 6-speed manual gearbox. The gearing is long, the throws are nice and quick and precise, and driving here on the highway, it feels like this is what the car was designed to do. For example, I'm doing about 80 kilometers an hour and the car is doing just around 1,400 RPM. And you chuck it into economy mode, then you can get up to 26.5 kilometers per liter, which makes it also incredibly efficient. Now yes, they have improved the ground clearance of this car specifically for the India model, but it isn't just a simple jack-up job. They have also changed a few components in the suspension, specifically the bump stock rubber, which means that it also protects the car from initial shock. So we drove it over a few potholes and a few speed breakers, and the car responds really well. It doesn't get thrown off easily. Now coming to the features on this car, Honda have given it features that have been designed to make your life a lot more easier. For example, you have a lane watch assist, the one that we've seen on the CR-V as well. You push a button, or when you activate your indicator stalk, it activates a camera in the left rear view mirror, and then there's an image that pops up on the screen to tell you what's behind you. It also gets cruise control. It also has a sunroof, dual zone climate control. It now has an electronic parking brake, which means that it's freed up a lot of space right here in the central console, and also comes with an adjustable armrest. Visibility on this car has also been greatly improved. The A-pillars have been slimmed out a bit compared to the previous model, so the visibility is a lot better. You sit a lot more upright as well. And then we have the NVH levels on this car. Of course, we're driving on really smooth highways. From what I can tell, there isn't a lot of wind noise coming in. I can hear a hint of tire noise, but that can be easily drowned out with this really nice audio system. Overall, for a diesel, not bad. It's designed to be more of a cruiser. It doesn't have that punch that you would expect from a diesel engine. Driving here at triple-digit highway speeds, the car feels nice and compliant. Brakes are responsive. The steering has a nice weight to it, and the car feels pretty balanced overall. Despite the fact that they've jacked up the ground clearance, the car doesn't feel unsettling, and that really comes down to the suspension tuning on this, which Honda have done a really good job for. So all in all, here on the highways, the diesel performs really well. Now with this new platform being longer and wider than before, the most obvious place of benefit is when it comes to practicality, specifically the boot space. The Civic now offers 430 liters of boot space, an improvement of 73 liters over the previous model. Not just practicality, the interiors have also benefited. Let's check it out. So here in the rear, the legroom has definitely improved, but the biggest thing that really impresses me right here in the rear are these seats. They are just spot on. The backrest is at the right angle. There are nice deep contours in the seats themselves that really envelop your body in. Now Honda says that this is good enough for 3 people, although I'm a bit suspicious. I don't think so, that 3 people can sit abreast, also considering that you have a big transmission tunnel right here on the floor. You have rear AC vents, but no rear charging socket, and headroom also is a bit of a squeeze, but that does not mean that this is a bad place to be. So The fit and finish inside the cabin is all top-notch. Nice quality materials have been used. The dashboard is all soft touch. There are these really nice faux wooden inserts as well. I particularly like the contrast stitching on the seats and the steering wheel. When it comes to the infotainment system, you get a 7-inch infotainment system with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. But what's particularly interesting is this little feature here that has a bit of a cable organizer that hides behind this central console unit right here. And I also like the new TFT display. The graphics on it are really nice and smooth. The readout is nice and clear. So although the cabin overall has gone back to being more conventional compared to the previous model, it does feel a lot more upmarket, more premium and more suave. Alright, now time to head back and drive the petrol variant. Alright, driving the petrol Civic, a 1.8 litre naturally aspirated petrol. Haven't said that in a while. You have 6,500 RPM to play with. The first thing that's going to strike you when you drive this car is the handling. In one word, guys, is incredible. Don't forget that this chassis also underpins the mighty Civic Type R that holds the lap record for the fastest front-wheel drive car on the Nürburgring. It's 22 kilos lighter, it's 25% stiffer. They've also upgraded a lot of suspension components in. It gets beefier stabilizer bars, it gets a new front strut, it also gets a new multi-link rear suspension. You also have a steering rack with variable ratios, a suite of electronics. You have their own stability control and also brake torque vectoring in case you overcook it. And the driving experience here in the twisties, guys, is so much fun. This car really does a great job in the corners, with possibly the exception of maybe the Skoda VRS. I can't think of any other car in this segment that just drives as nice. There is such a wonderful sense of connection through the steering wheel. The feedback is really good. It's easy to tell what the wheels are doing and easy to place the car. The only thing that takes away from the driving experience for me, to be honest, is the fact that the petrol engine doesn't come with a manual gearbox. To be honest, the CVT does a pretty decent job. When you put it in manual mode and use the paddle shifters, it does a decent job of emulating gears. It doesn't necessarily auto upshift. It holds the engine revs nicely, so you can essentially play with the torque and power band. But then again, I would have just preferred the manual. Now, when we asked Honda this, they said that according to their market research, 90% of people who buy petrol sedans in this segment prefer automatics. And therein lies the question, folks. With today's market, does the Civic still make sense? But before we answer that question, here are some of the things that I feel that could have improved with the Civic. So first off, it doesn't have a speed sensing auto door lock. It's manual, which I think for a car in this segment is a bit of a weird omission. Then there are the tires. Handling setup of the car is incredible, but I think it's the tires that let it down. Honda have gone for a much harder compound. It just doesn't do justice to this entire chassis and handling setup. And then there is a very key fob of the car. It's similar to the one that you have on the Amaze. The Civic is a legend to us enthusiasts. It was launched at a time when there was nothing else like it in our markets. Of course, now the market has moved on and they all love SUVs, but Honda believe that the sedan is making a comeback. This new Civic, it certainly is an upgrade, but I can't help but feel that it now appeals more to the head than it does the heart. I'm really glad that the Civic is back, but I'm also cautiously optimistic. What about you? Thank you so much for watching. Why don't you let us know in the comment section below. My name is Glenn. Until next time, bye-bye.